Hey everyone, it's Simone Watson, and earlier I talked about NaNoWriMo, Camp NaNoWriMo, and I was joking. But now I want to actually tell you some things about my plan for Camp NaNoWriMo. And I thought that I would talk about my general writing plans for the rest of this year and maybe going into the first quarter of next year. But basically the rest of this year. So currently I am this close to the end of a revision on my novel, my YA contemporary, that I haven't wanted to mention on this channel that much recently because I thought I was going to be querying way sooner than this, and just came so close. Even started pitching it because I thought I was gonna be ready to query like so soon. I was like, I'm gonna be ready to query in a couple weeks and this and that and this, and no. So I did pitch, but I did not send out any queries because this process is taking longer than I thought it was gonna take, and you just gotta keep going until you get it where you want it to be. So after pitching that earlier in the process, I have not pitched it for the past few months because I'm like, no, I'm going to keep working on it. I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna see this revision through to the end. So the plan is to be done with that revision by, let's say, the middle of April. So let's say April 15th, but let's say 14th, okay? So that's a deadline that I just now came up with for myself because I was trying to be done with it a few days ago on March 27th, and that didn't happen, but I'm so close, y'all. So close. So when I finish that revision, I'm going to send it to my mentor. I have a mentor from Author Mentor Match, round 5. I might send it to some betas or critique partners. But the challenge right now is the line edits. That's kind of the next challenge because I have just made really big changes to the plot, the structure, the way that the story was told. So I've made big developmental changes, but I am going to have to go through and make some changes on a line level. A lot of changes on the line level because I have 3 narrators in this book, and one of the narrators has Broca's aphasia. And so in my first draft, I had her first chapter was really, oh, I didn't explain. Broca's aphasia is a brain, a neurological disorder that can happen after a brain injury or a stroke. Essentially, it makes it really hard for a person to speak. Aphasia in general, the word aphasia means loss of language, and there are many different types of aphasia that people can have after a brain injury or stroke. But Broca's aphasia specifically has to do with expressive language. And what will happen is sometimes a person with Broca's aphasia intends to say one word, but they say it they say something else. So, and it can either be something that sounds like that word, or something that has a similar meaning, or is somehow associated in the in the person's brain. So let's say I meant to say pillow. If I mean to say pillow, but then I say, well, there aren't a lot of things that rhyme with pillow. Okay, so I'm gonna go with a different example. So if I mean to say hair, but I say chair, okay, that's something that might happen to a person with Broca's aphasia. The frustrating thing about Broca's aphasia, I have had aphasia a few times, but it was transient, meaning it lasts for a few days, and it has to do with they don't really know why, maybe a migraine or seizure or something, but that's part of the reason why I came back to writing this novel after starting it a long time ago and then stopping, because I realized how like very, very frustrating that can be. And it can get frustrating very quickly, because sometimes you know what word you're saying, you can see it in your mind and you can like hear it, but when you go to say it, a different word comes out, and it's really hard to like explain to other people, because your mouth is working, you know, your voice is like everything works, but your brain somehow does this kind of weird thing, you know. So yeah, like I said, if I meant to say hair but I said chair, or like if I meant to say hair but I said brush or something, or like at one point I meant to say good, but I was talking about a verse when I personally had a transient aphasia episode. I meant to say good, like it's a good Bible verse, but I started saying small, and I didn't know why I was saying small, and I think it's because the verse was in Psalms, and small and Psalms kind of sound similar, if that makes sense. So anyway, there is a challenge with that character's narration, because in the first draft I had like in the first chapter I had her aphasia be very evident in the narration, and then like in the next few chapters it was like improving, and then came to a point of sounding just like a neurotypical person in the narration, but in her speech it still was, there were still challenges. I am actually going back and going to make the improvement less sudden, and like actually kind of have her aphasia still probably be evident throughout the novel, or at least like not have it be as like sudden an improvement. When I had transient aphasia, I had learned about aphasia in classes in college, and I thought that like your thinking would be totally clear and your speech would be affected. I found when I experienced this that my thoughts were affected too, not as badly, but there was some lack of fluency in the words in my mind, and so that was frustrating also. And so because of that, I do want the narration to reflect that, but my mentor was kind of like pointing this out to me, that like it kind of goes from really evident to like almost not evident at all very quickly. And so I do want to find a balance there where the reader can still understand what the narrator is saying, but it's yeah, like the reader can still understand it, but you can still kind of tell, and maybe you can tell that she's recovering with her aphasia, but it's still like a process that doesn't happen all in one day, or it doesn't necessarily happen all at once, the process of recovery. So there we go. That explanation was longer than I thought it was going to be, but that's just what is going on with 17 letters. So after I send it to my mentor, possibly some betas, critique partners, then I get it back, then I can do the line edits, or if there are more plot or character things that need work, I can work on those things, and then get ready to query. So hopefully I'll be querying on June 1st. That is the tentative plan, but I don't know, because I don't know when it's going to come back from my mentor and the possible betas. So we will see. If I have to wait longer than that, I'm okay. I'm just kind of having to train myself to be, not train, but having to encourage myself to be patient, because I really do want this to be the best it can be before it goes to literary agents. So just, I feel good getting that off my chest. Just that I thought I was going to query before, and then I didn't. So we're constantly learning, right? I'm learning from this experience. Now, I did decide to start a new project for Camp NaNo. Well, not a new project actually, but to do a project. I previously was like, I'm gonna finish 17 letters by March 27th and then I can do Camp NaNo. Not quite, but if you all recall, back in NaNoWriMo 2016, which was my first NaNoWriMo of trying to be a published author, like seriously trying, that I had been writing my first novel, and I was trying to finish it on October 31st, so I could start a new novel on November 1st. But then I didn't finish my first novel, which was Red Letter Law. I didn't finish it October 31st. I did start something new on November 1st, which was Furlough, which I might talk about in a second. But after I started Furlough on November 1st, I finished Red Letter Law on November 2nd. And the good thing about that was it gave me time to realize that I did not want to write the Red Letter Law sequel the day after I finished the first book, that I wanted to like give it a little bit of space. Of course, I ended up starting the sequel on the 9th because I felt inspired, but I still haven't finished the sequel. And that first book is on hold right now. Red Letter Law is on hold. So it's like right now I'm not doing anything with it, but that manuscript exists. And if I do choose to try to get it published at some point, it's gonna need some pretty major changes. But anyway, that was just to show that I had a track record of like starting one thing while I was almost done with something else. But for this purpose, I have put parameters on my Camp NaNo project, and mainly it's that I'm planning to work on it for about half an hour a day, not a whole lot of time. And I chose one that doesn't require a ton of writing. So I have a few things that I plan to write for the rest of this year, and one of these things is Rookie. It's a graphic novel I'm working on with my brother. But like by working on it, I mean we've like talked about it, and I wrote a short story in the same universe that was published in 2018, I think. So we have talked about it, but I haven't actually written the script, and I still need to figure out the plot summary and like get those details done. So my goal for this Camp NaNo is to have as much of the planning as possible done for this. So like outline, summary, things like that, descriptions of the characters and things like that. So my word goal is 100 words a day, which is very small, but it's because I really want to keep this small and doable and not overwhelming right now. There are a lot of things going on, and I just don't want to be overwhelmed. I want to keep it fun and light and positive. So 100 words a day on that, which again is like an outline. So 100 words could go a long way with this, and so that will end up being 3,000 words. Might end up being way more than that. We will see. Will I write any script pages for it? Not sure, but I still do need to figure out the plot. The other projects that I'm planning to finish or at least work on, make progress on this year are Tethered and the Miami project. Tethered is something I talked about a long time ago. I finished the first draft of it in NaNoWriMo 2016. It is like I used to call it magical realism. It's more like fabulous. It's fabulous fiction. It previously focused on like 4 different stories, but I'm taking the one and I'm expanding it to make it more fleshed out, basically, and make it be a full novel. The first draft of this whole thing with these 4 stories was only like 31,000 words. So whenever I go back and finish that, I am going to have to make it longer, which is great. But there will be 2 narrators, and one narrates in prose and one narrates in verse. So it still might be kind of short because of the verse narration, but we'll see. So sometime this year, I would like to get back to that. And then my other project is the Miami project. That's not the name of it, but that was my project for NaNoWriMo 2019. And I probably didn't talk to y'all about it. And I guess I because I was so busy with my revision, I wasn't doing YouTube. But then I was like, I really want to start something new for NaNoWriMo. And so I did. And so I'm very excited about that project, the Miami project. But I don't want to tell you a lot about it. So basically, I'll tell you that it is a thriller with a sci-fi twist. So I'm super excited. And lastly, I will mention furlough. I haven't mentioned furlough in a while, but that's because I haven't been making videos for a while. But furlough is my only, like, so the project that I'm doing the revision on is 17 letters. Furlough, the 17 letters is a YA contemporary. Furlough is my only other YA contemporary that I have worked on, like, in recent history that I can remember. And so I might end up writing furlough later on, because once you debut in one genre, sometimes they want you to stay in that genre. And furlough is something that is still dear to my heart, but I don't want to make myself write it right now, because these other projects are kind of capturing my attention more. And furlough is, I know I've mentioned it a lot, I've like started it, I've done some planning for it, but I haven't actually finished it. And I can finish it and do plan to finish it, just not yet. But you know, my goal is to be published with 17 letters. And so just like the realization that like I might be expected to write another YA contemporary at that point in time is like, now I have furlough in the bank, so to speak, as an idea, but it's not a completed draft yet. So yeah, you know, those are my plans for the rest of this year. They might change, I don't know, you know. And so I haven't put concrete dates on everything yet, but I do hope that you enjoyed hearing some of my, you know, thought process. And I would like to know what, you know, y'all are working on, or what you think. I am not going into too much detail about the premises of my projects right now, especially Rookie, the graphic novel. That is because graphic novels are sold on proposal with like the concept and some art. And so I don't want to tell you too much of the concept before we sell it, okay? But thank you for watching, and I'm so excited to be making a YouTube video. Like, until today it had been a while, so I'm super excited, and thank y'all so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you soon. Bye.